Supposed to be, I don't know. Is it not live yet?
It is. It's on the top down.
Hello? Can you see me? Are we live? I don't know what's going on. My studio is kind of frozen. I'm gonna refresh. Hopefully that'll be okay. Okay. Are we live? Are we live? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be seeing something on studio. I can't see anything right now. Um, I have sound on mine. Do we have sound?
Yeah, it should play.
Okay, we have sound. We might have a screen. It's it's my first time streaming on YouTube through OBS. And I'm just looking at like a black screen with a circle, so I have no clue what you guys are actually seeing. So I'm going to look through OBS and hope that you can see a book. Can you see a book? I feel like I'm supposed to be able to see it on Studio though. Yeah, it says start sending your video from your streaming software to go live. So it hasn't actually logged on my Studio that we are live. Or what if I click here? Maybe that will do it. No, okay. Um, oh, okay, finally I can see. Oh, that was so strange. It's okay. We're gonna get there maybe. Um, hello. Oh, that is very bright. Today I've got this sketchbook. How pretty is this sketchbook? Honestly, this is only a Royal Talons art creation sketchbook, but it's got the white pages, which I've never used before, and I don't know if it's going to be different. I've heard it's slightly different to the yellow pages, but that's what we're going to be using. And this is the setup I'll show you. So, this is the book, and I've got the Peachtober prompt list. Here is a quick look at the prompts. So we're going to go through and see what we can do today. They're a little bit odd. There's a couple that are very similar to what we've had in previous years. Something like Bud, I have no ideas for. I thought I said cafe then. I was so confused. There's a couple I have no ideas for. But I've left this page because, yeah, you can see, like how strange all of this bumps is. So I've left the first page. And I've also left this page because it's joined up really weird. But anyway, this is going to be the Peachtober title page. And then we're going to make our way through each of the prompts. I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. There you go, how's that? The sun is leaving us, so we're going to end up with that light on. Hopefully it's okay though. Okay, the first prompt is Daisy. If anyone has any ideas, go for it, because I don't have a lot of ideas for a lot of them really. And whilst we're thinking about Daisy, hello, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining. It's really scary trying to do this through a software I'm completely out of my depth, but we'll see how it goes. For the first prompt, I honestly didn't really, I don't have any solid ideas for any of them, but I've got overgrown flowers coming out of a car. You know, like when you see daisies kind of were with weeds and leaves and that. So I was thinking something like maybe like a beetle or something with a load of flowers. That was my first idea. And the second idea, because I wanted to do, there's a couple of things in Peachtober that I would like to include, and nostalgia is one of them. I've been seeing a lot of people do like Nintendo DS's and old Game Boys and old flip phones and all of that kind of thing, and I wanted to do something for that, so trying to combine that with flowers. A cow called Daisy. That's a cute idea. I think we're gonna do quite a few animals, but there is actually one on the next page. Poor. That one's definitely going to be an animal that we're going to have to try and think about. But the first prompt is Daisy. So, need to get sketching really. Need to see what we could do. This sketchbook is actually A4, so it is really quite big. But I think we're only going to do it. I always end up going too big. So I will start my sketch here and then I go outwards and I make it huge. But I want to try and keep it well within the A4 so it doesn't buckle too much. Hiya, hi Alison, hi Rob. How are you doing today? You're in America, aren't you? So what is it, like midday there? It's a little bit later here, that's why it's a little bit dark. I think, yeah, if I change the curtain there, we get a little bit of bright. So I think I might sort of sketch out my first idea a little bit. I like the car idea. I think something like a beetle could work cool, or something like maybe like an old camper van. I don't know, that was the first idea I had, unless anyone else has any really cool ideas for Daisy. I just think it'd be a nice one to start on, something like, I don't know, maybe the front of a beetle. I think I might zoom you in just a little bit. Hey, now that we've seen the sketchbook and we've all admired the sketchbook, I'll zoom you in just a little bit. It's really weird having my proper camera there. There we go. And now I don't really know how to draw cars, honestly, but they're kind of round, especially from the front. Now into the afternoon. I'm good, thank you. How you doing, Alison? I always love seeing your pieces. Yeah, it's just past 5 o'clock here, so the sun is definitely setting a lot earlier now. What does a beetle look like from the front? I might need to look for a reference. Oh no, if I just type in, yeah, I just typed in beetle and we got beetles. We want the car. Oh, that's, no, okay, that's not great. It's not too bad. It's quite round like that, and then we have a little bit to the side. Eh, and then kind of the wheels. And then my idea was kind of like, I guess you have like the bonnet and kind of like that. Oh, do you know what I was gonna do? Well, you can actually see really well. I actually have that. So I kind of add, I could put the words on the side. Just in case anyone joins and doesn't really know what we're doing. So my beetle idea was that you had maybe like a hole in the roof and the daisies were kind of coming out like this and it looks a little bit overgrown. Obviously, this is just a really loose sketch, as you can tell. The other idea, something like a cow, that is a cool idea. I, okay, I've actually drawn one car and it was actually a beetle. I've just remembered now you said it, but that was years ago. I don't remember. They're kind of cool cars though. I don't know why I thought of it. I guess because it's kind of like an older style car, so maybe it'd be more likely to be overgrown. I think I might have seen something like this before. Maybe I'm thinking of like Transformers or something. Maybe it's something like that I'm thinking of. I don't know where this idea came from. The second idea was something like an everyday object, which could be an everyday object, or we could link it to nostalgia, like we said. I think I have seen something similar, and the problem is I don't remember where it was from, but it was like an old Nintendo DS. Trying to remember now what it looks like. Um, kind of like that, and then it has a screen there, doesn't it? And then there's a couple of buttons. I can't remember. I think there's circles on one side, maybe. And there we go. Kind of like that. I think I actually saw these. I think I saw it on Instagram, an actual account. There's an actual small business that buys old DSs and turns them into these like dioramas. I think that might be what I was thinking of. But basically you have like the flowers coming out of here. It's really cool. She does like think it kind of like she takes out the screen and goes inside and literally has like Pokemon coming out of it and stuff like that. It was really cool. There's daisies, but then they do have quite a few leaves, don't they, I think. This was the second idea that I had for Daisy. And the other one that we could do is the cow. I do not remember what a cow looks like. Um, what do their ears look like? That maybe? The cow thing could be really cute though because of there being like a daisy field, which could go really well for neocolors. Is that kind of a cow? That is a very short cow, but it's kind of a cow. What I might do is I might just try and um just trying to see if I can up the brightness just a touch. Oh no, that doesn't really work. Hmm. Oh, there we go. Maybe that will work. Does that work? No. Okay. I think the cow, I don't know why it looks so weird. I think maybe the legs are really short. But you could do something like this with the flowers like on the grass. I mean, there's quite a few ideas here which we could use for other ones. I don't know which one I'm leaning towards really. What do you think? I think the cow is quite cute. I like the DS and I like this idea. I wonder if we could reuse a couple of these later on in a different way, perhaps. I mean, there's a couple of similar prompts. I will say there's a few similar prompts in this. I mean, they're better than Inktober. I don't know if you've seen the Inktober prompts for this year, but the Inktober prompts they're themed. Should we switch to my face? There we go. Ah, my fringe. The Inktober ones are really themed. The Inktober ones are they're all themed around camping or something this year, so I think that made my decision. I'm not gonna be doing Inktober this year, I'm doing Peachtober. But yeah, I mean, are you doing any Inktober art challenges or like October ones? I think there's Inktober, Peachtober, Drawtober, Painttober. and Drawloween. I think they're the ones that I know of. I think there's also like Cattober, Witchtober. There's so many. But I'm not doing Inktober just because every single prompt is themed around like adventure and camping. And I just don't know how I would be able to make them really different because this year, last year I did coloured inks. This year I'm going to be using any medium whatsoever. We're using like alcohol markers, watercolor, acrylic wash. We're doing everything. So, I mean, if you haven't seen the prompts will kind of explain themselves, but they are very themed around camping. So we're doing Peachtober. And with that, the second prompt is sparkle. And I do have a little bit of an idea for this one because I mean, if there's ever an opportunity to do a portrait, I'm gonna do a portrait. So it's gonna be like a portrait with stars and metallics. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But obviously I need to keep it within the page. Like I go too far to the edge. I want to keep it right in the middle. I do have some pens as well that I was going to use if we finalize, but I mean, it's not really, perspective isn't correct, but it's fine. September, yeah, I've heard of that one. There's a few in September actually. I can't remember what they are, but the Inktober and Peachtober, all of the October ones are just so big that I end up doing those instead. So the second prompt is sparkle. I think we've got a few good ideas for the first. One of them will be chosen, and maybe we'll reuse another one again if we can. We're gonna do a portrait. The main thing is trying to make sure that sparkle comes across. So I'm gonna add a box for this one just to try and get the composition right because it's not so much drawing a face because the face that I draw now is probably going to look very different to what's actually sticks later on when I use a reference. Um, but the main thing is the composition because I always end up bigger. So I don't want to do that. We need to make it fit but have stars around the outside. Oh, hi Misty, how are you doing today? We are currently going through the Peachtober prompts and we've got some good ideas for the first one, and the second one is sparkle. So we're going to have a face. Where did these lines come from? Why did I do that? What did I say? I said include stars and metallics. I had a sort of clear idea in mind for this one. I'd like to use alcohol markers. It's been a little while. I mean, I've only used it for that hoo-hoo video that I did. I've not really done any portraits since properly. So we're going to do a face, but the face is going to be quite, I say small. I'm going to try and keep it small, kind of. So we're going to have our face, but how are we going to incorporate these stars, the sparkle and everything around it? I'm thinking like maybe make it look a little bit like lights, kind of, maybe if there's like a light source that goes around like this, maybe? Obviously, we'll have to do it quite early on. Because alcohol markers, you kind of need to keep the light. I don't really know much about alcohol markers, I've not used them much, but in a lot of ways, I think they're kind of similar to watercolor. Kind of looks like it's coming out of that person's head. But we'll add in, okay, there's the nose. If we just add in some eyes, just to make it look a bit like human. And some eyebrows. I mean, I don't know what the person's actually going to end up looking like. Okay, I did the mouth a bit high, the nose a bit low, but sparkle. So we could do something like metallics in the hair maybe, as well as, but I wonder if you could have like clips in the hair or something maybe. How could we incorporate sparkle, do you think? Oh, it's lovely to see you all here. Thank you for joining. I think maybe I'll do some curly hair maybe. And some ears. I don't know if this is a girl or not. I don't know what this is. Oh, what if we do a sparkly dress? If we can kind of fit that in maybe. Because I have metallic watercolors that we could use, but I don't know. Or we could do, I mean, that fringe is kind of looking like a pixie cut to me. So we could do that maybe. Something like a cute little pixie cut. And then metallic highlights. Oh, a studded headband. That's a good idea. Because I was trying to think of what you could put in your hair that's metallics, and I only really thought of like hair grips, but I don't think they would show very well. A decorative shirt. Oh, some jewelry. That's a good idea. What if we do a couple of like one of those layered necklaces? So this is kind of metallic, and then you have another bit there, followed by like a big jewel. Does that look like a necklace at all? And then I think the body would just kind of end really, considering that's kind of where the page will end. I tell you what, if I just reach for, okay, I couldn't find the gel pen I wanted behind me, but we have this that may work. It's it's probably a little bit chunky, but it might work. Just so that we remember what this is. Okay, so there is kind of a layered necklace. And then if we make these metallic as well, and the headband, where should we pop that? I love the jewelry idea. Sparkly earrings. That's a cool idea. Okay. Or should we do dangly earrings kind of to match this? Because we've got quite short hair, so we could do, I mean, the ears actually look really small. Yeah, the ears are a bit small. They're a bit low as well. We could do like really long kind of earrings like this, maybe. Maybe with something at the top. Headband, like a thin headband all the way across. That's kind of what I'm imagining. I think with a pixie cut, some of the hair would kind of go on top of it, wouldn't it? Ooh, with some feathers. Okay. We could pop the feathers on this side because the sparkles are going to be there. Oh no, does that look... Yeah, okay, that's kind of a feather. And then I think the hair will cover some of it. So I'll have to figure out the layering. So everything that we're doing in metallics, you can just about see it's metallic, kind of, is going to be metallic watercolor on top of an alcohol marker drawing. I I think that should be fine, as long as I don't mess about with it too much. I mean, it's alcohol, I think it should be fine. I don't know, but I would like to get a lot of practice with the alcohol markers in, because I haven't had the chance to use them much. How's that? I can't quite picture a feather. I think they might be going the wrong way around. Is that kind of a feather? I can't quite picture one right now. I've also done it quite slanted. I feel like I'm gonna need a reference. But I think has it gone through the page? Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. That's really interesting. I guess I guess we're gonna have to be a little bit careful. I've left a couple of pages at the front so we can try out some pens. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, it's not thick paper, but I really thought that would be okay. Because obviously we are going to be drawing on the right side. So let me pop this down. Alcohol markers. Oh, what is wrong with my pen? It keeps doing this weird thing. Like, you can see it just shrinks. Like, where's it gone? What? That's where it's gone. So strange. Alcohol markers with metallic watercolor. I had to write that in a way that I wasn't going to get that on my hand. I think it's dried. Yeah, that is really interesting though. I thought that would be okay. I think this is a pretty solid design. I think I'm not too sure about the first one, but now for the third prompt, we're making good progress. Third prompt is pour. And I don't have a lot of ideas for this one. I've got animal, pet, or like the paw print on a landscape, like, just a paw print. I think I've done something like this before. Oh yeah, I think it was Peachtober the year before where I did like 31 prompts on one painting. I think the prompt was paw print. So it is really quite similar. There's quite a few that are really similar. I mean, the next one is sky, which is also quite similar, but they're all cute. So for this one, I think we're going to do an animal. I don't know what animal. I guess anything with a paw will be fine. Metallics. No, I got the pink set. I saw someone did the swatching of the pink Artex markers and the blue set, and the blue set had like neons and metallics and it looked nice. But they were quite thin, so I chose the pastel ones because they were a little bit more white, so they were a little bit like thicker, which is kind of what I wanted. But yeah, those are acrylic, so they probably wouldn't go through. I mean, I think the metallic watercolor will be fine, so I just probably won't use the other one. I mean, we're only using like the right side, so it should be fine. It will just go through onto the back of this, so I'm not too fussed. I mean, this last page, this is al no, no, it'll be this one. This one's alcohol marker, so this will go through anyway. Hello, welcome. We're just going through the Peachtober prompts. How about paw prints on the beach? That's a really cute idea. How would I do that though? I guess it would be like a landscape really, wouldn't it? I think. Um, which way am I doing this? Almost like you have a horizon, a little bit of water. Maybe like that. Although this is portrait, so Really, it would actually be quite a bit lower, wouldn't it? You could do. I do have some reference photos. Oh, that's almost square. I have some reference photos that I took a long while ago that actually would probably suit that. I think it was like a big paw print here, and the rest of it is out of focus, so I might be able to use that. Trying to picture a paw print. I know like the stereotypical paw print, but I can't actually picture one on an animal, but this is the stereotypical paw print, I guess. I think there's a lot more shape than that, isn't it? It kind of looks a bit more like random, it's not as round. But if you were going to do it like this, you'd probably have to, don't know, try and figure out. I guess it would actually be a lot more flat because you're kind of looking at it like that way. But it'd be a cool idea to then have it kind of continuing like little paw prints all the way down. Yeah, that's a cute idea. I don't know why this ended up in that shape. Really, it should be like right down here. I don't know what happened there. I think the other option would be doing something like a dog or a cat. Maybe, I don't know, you could do like lifting up its paw, kind of like this, but then I guess you wouldn't see like the pads underneath, which are quite cute. Oh, that just reminded me of oh, what is that? You know the thing, the little statues that you see? I think it might be Japanese, the ones with the cat with the paw like this. That's kind of what I thought of. That kind of position, like you could do something, your own kind of take on it. Again, the head is far too big. Ugh, why do I do this? So you kind of have like your animal there holding a paw up. You could do something like that maybe. Haven't quite decided if it's a dog or a cat. We could try a dog. I don't have much experience with animals, though, I will say. Oh, they're very angry eyes. I don't have much experience, as you can tell. Um, I think I started off with a cat and then I kind of changed my mind to a dog. I think that's the biggest problem we got here. Don't even know what breed I'm trying to do. Kind of looks like a rabbit. The eyes are huge. Anyway, I don't know what this is. What is this? Um, I guess it's kind of a dog, maybe. And then you'd have the other one kind of like here, wouldn't you? And then maybe like a little, oh, that foot is completely wrong. You know, and they just kind of sit like that. Again, I'd have to look at references to really get it right, but you could kind of do a dog lifting up its paw, something like that. But I do really like the idea of actually seeing the underneath. Yeah, the lucky cats, that's what they are. Kind of similar positioning, kind of like your own take, but making it actually like realistic. So it looks like an actual dog that's just in the exact same position. Because I think a cat would be a little bit too similar. It'd be kind of cute to make it look semi-realistic. That looks so angry, the eyes. Dogs are quite difficult because there's so many different breeds that you have to kind of pick one. They're both very different ideas. I don't know about that. Should we move on to number four? Number four is a little bit. I don't have many ideas, as you can see. This is where we are. So, sky, surreal landscape. That's all I've got. Anyone have any ideas? Because I don't. I mean, sky is so vague. It's good, there's a lot that you could do, but What do you do for sky? You could literally do anything, really. I don't even know what medium I would use for this. I mean, I normally do watercolor, but I think I want it to look a little bit more surreal. Clouds of a rainbow. Oh, that's cute. That is kind of where I was leaning, it being a little bit surreal. But I think if I use watercolor, it will just look a bit too realistic compared to what I normally do. Floating islands. Ooh, like floating islands. What, in the sky? That could be interesting. That would be very fantasy. It depends. I mean, the first step is, are we going to include like a horizon line or is it all in the sky? I'm feeling like it's all in the sky unless you had something like. Now, this is going to be weird because we're doing a landscape, but we're doing it in portrait. I have to almost draw this just to keep myself in, otherwise I'll forget. You could have something coming out of the clouds. Oh, that's very fantasy. Okay, let's see. So, clouds. I don't know why, I just have this thing where I always do clouds this way. I don't know if that's a common thing. Oh, a night sky. Hmm. If we do clouds, what would the color palette be? Is there a way that we can do clouds at night? I guess we could, couldn't we? But then we've got a rainbow. Well, I normally do clouds kind of this way. I don't know why. So then you'd have your sky here. And then I do quite like the idea of a mountain or something coming out into the clouds, but I can't quite picture it. I think if we just pop some more in, because it is portrait, which should probably be a little bit lower down than that. But yeah. I mean, sky is, I mean, it's a good prompt because there's a lot you can do for it, but we've had very similar prompts in the past. Sunset. If we pick colours, I'm going to have to write next to it because I've only got this to hand. Um, I like the idea of a rainbow. We could do half a rainbow here. Kind of going off the page. I do like having rainbows because then it can add quite a bit of colour. And then something coming out of the clouds. Not really sure how we're going to frame it. Maybe something like that could work. Little rope bridges between islands. How are we going to do that? It's a crazy idea. Um, I don't know. Like, hmm, what would be on the islands? I'm trying to think of size. I think I've done the clouds quite close up. So maybe actually, if we want it to be bigger, maybe we need to have like less, just so it looks further away. Well, more. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, because these are, they look like they're up close. I mean, clouds don't really look like that either. I mean, we could do stars in the sky, but with a fade as well. So we could do it one color going into another. And then you can quite easily just put stars on with like a gel pen or something. And like little splatters, which is what I like to do. So if we started with like a pink down here, we could go up. Little islands. What if we have one behind here? Does that kind of... I don't know. I think a rainbow would look cute. But I mean, the clouds are going to be very light. Kind of like a floating island in the middle of clouds, kind of like a mountain. Like here? Kind of like a really big one just behind. But then we'll probably need to do these kind of bigger. I mean, it's very surreal. So we've got our stars. I think the biggest thing will be, are the clouds going to be light and the background dark? Or are the clouds going to be kind of, I suppose they wouldn't be so dark. So I think we're going to need the background kind of light. So it will look more like a sunset than in the middle of night. Because I think the clouds will probably be like a pastel pink or blue or something. So if we say sunset, kind of like pink bottom up to yellow. I do like the idea of a rainbow being here. I wonder if it would kind of be in the cloud actually though, rather than on top. Maybe like here. It doesn't look very round. Yeah, I think something like, I think arrows is just the easiest way to do it. We'll go pastel pink and blue clouds. And then here we've got the little islands. So I'm going to have to work out what the colour theme is going to be. Because we've already got quite a bit of pink. And then obviously we've got the rainbow, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll pop it there anyway. I mean, we've got the surreal landscape. I think that's cute. What would the medium be? Um, watercolor would probably work. Unless you do a watercolor background and then maybe do the edges in something like gouache or acrylic gouache, just because it will go over quite easily. Because we're going to want a little bit of shadow here. And I kind of like the idea of the islands being like a unique green rather than like bright green. Maybe something like sage green or olive green or something. So I might pop that down to a unique green. Maybe. Okay. Oh, we got 4 prompts done in 45 minutes. That's really good. I'm gonna have to do the proper sketch on the big one. But how are you all doing? Should we move on to number 5? What is number 5? Oh, I remember number 5. Okay. Number 5 is fawn, which I thought of a little deer and then I spelt it wrong. And then I thought of the emotion. It's kind of like people pleasing, I guess. But I think a deer's gonna be cuter, right? It is definitely going to be cuter. But obviously we don't want it to just be a deer. So we need to think of a way to make it like a really cute little deer, which will really help if I ever reference in future. Can't really picture. I mean, I can try and draw a deer, but how should we fit it in? Fawn. Fawn is just a little deer, really. Is any other ideas? All I can think of is a little deer. We could do up close to make it different. A mother deer with a fawn, that would be cute. Because it's portrait, I think it will work quite well because they are quite tall animals. Well, I mean, the baby probably won't be, but they're quite high. Okay, there's our wonky box. Hiya, how are you doing today? Just going through the Peachtober prompts, and we've actually made quite a bit of progress already, which is really good. I would like to start. I'd like to make a start soon because I'm actually going away in October. So I want to make sure I've got all the Peachtober stuff filmed before then. Fawn. Okay, so a mother deer and a baby deer. Forest. I think that would be cute. I think the option is really just to do a deer. Oh no. Either a close-up deer or a very small deer in a forest. That would be cute. I mean, I'm thinking gouache. As soon as you said forest, I think gouache could work. So if we add a load of random trees, because I have done something like this before in gouache, where I've done a load of trees and kind of had the sun here, I think, but maybe this way could work. And then what if we do the sun kind of being on the baby deer and then the mother next to it? I've never drawn a deer in my life, okay? I'm just saying it now. Um, it's kind of, I mean, they're kind of like a dog, I guess, right? It's kind of like a dog, but skinnier, yeah? Um, maybe with cute little ears, maybe. I guess I did draw a deer recently when we were in Greece, didn't I? It's probably only time, but I didn't actually draw it. I just went straight in with paint. A skinny horse. I don't really draw horses either. Okay, it's we're just gonna go for it. Long neck, um, long legs, and a body. Yeah, kind of. Oh no, not there. They have long legs. I think they have long legs. There we go. Is that kind? That's kind of that will kind of do. That will do. So the baby, I think the mother might be a bit taller, to be honest. Maybe I'll make the legs longer. I think they have long legs. I might be thinking of the males more than the females, though. That's the only thing. And then we want a second back here. It's a bit of an odd position, really, because I think they need to be like front facing. Shorter neck. Have I drawn a giraffe? Kind of picture. I think I might be half picturing the male. I think that might be why. Okay. um, okay. Actually, I think we need to raise the body. I think the body is sort of there. I don't know. I think they're quite skinny, really. Well, that's something. That's kind of something. I don't know. That's something. And then we need the baby. It does look like a goat. I think it's the ears. I think they have little ears like that, but I guess maybe they don't. They have like a long, I don't know. This is why we use references. Does look like a goat. I tell you what, maybe if we add like some spots. No, it's just looking like a giraffe. Don't worry about that, Misty. Have a relax. Why not? Lying down. Lying down could be easier. The ears are a bit more straight. Okay. Oh, yes. Maybe that's it. It's kind of reminded me of an elf with those ears. Maybe they're higher. No, that's giving me like elf vibes as well. It's fine. We'll look at references in future. We need to see how the little one will fit. If the little one can be the focal point with the mum there. So maybe looking directly. If the mother is looking to the side, maybe the little one is kind of looking direct. Would it be smaller? Maybe it would be smaller actually. Okay, let's do right down here. Probably should have smaller face than the mom. Maybe smaller ears as well. Okay. I think this might be going slightly goat as well. I mean, I guess they're not very similar. But they kind of are in a way, as far as like all animals go. A deer isn't that far off a goat. A ribbon on the ear, that would be cute. I wonder if we should just do it on the baby though, so the baby is the main focus. Okay, let's just get something down because when it comes to the actual sketch, I'll definitely be using a reference. That looks really round. There we go. That's something. That's something. So to make the baby the main focus, we want to make sure that the lights kind of shines directly on the baby. So maybe the mother should be in shadow a little bit. Just so the baby's the main focus. And then a little ribbon would look very cute. Oh, a silhouette. That is interesting. I think this one will probably end up really quite dark, the shadow, just to make sure that's really the focus. If we do the light completely hitting the baby, we're also going to have like grass here, which I kind of forgot. And then obviously we've got a main tree, but we're going to need some main trees as well for the light. Some other ones. I think that's quite cute, really. It, yeah, I don't know what animal it looks like, but silhouette. Hmm. Like the baby deer left and then the mum in silhouette, or like them both as a silhouette? So we're going to have all of these trees as well and the plants. Don't even know what medium we're using. I think I said gouache, didn't I? I think gouache would work. I will add that. I also have acrylic gouache now, so I don't know if it will be gouache or acrylic gouache. I think you could do either, but I don't have much experience with the acrylic gouache, to be honest. Like, I haven't used it much. I don't really know how to layer it because it's closer to acrylic, really. The little deer inside the silhouette of the older deer. Okay, we're gonna have to do a separate little drawing then. Okay, so we're gonna draw another two weird little drawings. It's fine. We'll just accept that they kind of look like a goat, kind of like a giraffe. So, the deer, that head is way too big. So this is like the baby deer, kind of. And then that head is huge. It kind of looks like a human face, to be honest. It's kind of creepy. Okay, it's just getting shorter and shorter. It's kind of looking like a cat now. And then we're gonna do, well, it's just gonna be a silhouette if we do that. So it's, oh gosh. It's kind of gonna look like that. If you say it's kind of like this, I think they have like the tiniest little tails. I think I'm doing them far too big. So if we did the silhouette idea, then it'd be kind of like this, I guess. The only thing would be how we would do the forest and the light. Oh, hello, Ronak. How are you doing today? Thanks for joining. We're just going through the Peachtober prompts and attempting to draw 4 days from reference, and every single one of them looks tragic. I mean, this one looks a bit like a giraffe. That one, I don't know what that looks like. This one does look like a human crossed with a cat, and this one kind of looks like a person dressed as like in a onesie. But we could do the trees behind maybe with the light here. I think that's still a shout. We could always make half of the silhouette a little bit lighter from where the light's hitting, and then just do the other half very dark, kind of like that. Does that work? I have to see how this will work in gouache though, because it's not really super transparent unless you start really transparent and do this quite opaque. It definitely does. I mean, this one kind of looks like a baby in a onesie. Let's move on to prompt 6. I think we've got two pretty good ideas here. Prompt 6, I think is going to be fun for all of us to try and figure out. And the prompt is sketch. Be really good if we can get the full week's work done, won't it? So, prompt 6 is sketch. I was really happy to do this prompt because obviously we are artists, there's lots we can do with it. The ideas I had were doing like a lo-fi style kind of piece, so it's got a lot going on. It's like a room that's got a lot going on. And then we could also do like having the art supplies out, sketching a page. So you're showing like a messy desk in progress. If, I mean, you could like, I could just do one of these pieces, like do the first one, take a picture and use that as a reference. That would be an idea that we could do, just like a messy desk. That was the ideas I had. Kind of a messy desk or a messy room, and then you're working on the paper, and it's like an artist's little setup. That's a cool idea. I think I do still like the idea of it being on a desk, but you could definitely do it on a desk with the paper actually having something done on it. The half and half portrait kind of reminds me of, you know, when people like paint something and it's split into like four and then they do it in like four different styles? That's kind of what it reminds me of. Yeah. All right. So I like the idea of doing a desk, like pop it a little bit higher. It's a little bit difficult because every single one is portrait, and obviously last year I did square. So it is a bit odd because some of these things, like the deer, I guess that's not too bad. But I do think some of them would work better in landscape or square. But I mean, we could still do square. Just because it's portrait doesn't mean we have to fill the entire page. You know, this is wonky. I can't really picture a lo-fi scene, to be honest. So if we start with a desk, I like the idea of having art supplies out and drawing like, you know, like all the things we use, like a little pot with brushes in and all of that. If we start with, oh, I suppose it would probably want to be a little bit bigger, wouldn't it, if we're talking perspective. So that could be a desk, like kind of like you're just taking a picture of your desk setup. So we would want, again, a little bit of perspective, which I'm not great at, kind of non-existent. So that's like the work in progress that we're working on, which would probably be, I guess it would be about this big on the full page. And then what would we have next to it? Would it be the corner? Probably would be a wall, wouldn't it, really? If the desk is right up against the wall. So then you could do anything in this corner. You could do like a little pot with flowers. I'm not really a flower person myself, so I can't really picture what kind of flowers you'd have, but something like that maybe. So you got flowers in the corner. And then some art supplies. So you could have um I mean, what do they look like when we're in the middle of the process? They just go everywhere, don't they? So let's be realistic. It would be like maybe a nice little pencil there, but then it's going to be like pencils like just everywhere, isn't it? You know, this is someone that's working on it. So I think we want a paint palette could be nice maybe on this side. I guess that might make our person left-handed, but that could be quite nice. And then if we have a paint palette, we're going to need a water pot because I would like this to be the main focus, and I think it is at the moment. Um, kind of, kind of like that, I guess. I don't know. So, and then we're working on half and half portrait. That's a cool idea. Do you mean like so like they've only just got to that part? So Or is it like intentional? This is a really weird angle to be doing this at. So you'd have to leave some of it in graphite, I think. Probably like, oh, you could do the piece in watercolor because these are going to be watercolor paints. So that could look quite cool. So say, you've kind of, those eyes are far too far apart. Say you've got your kind of person here. That is a very big head. And I think probably like leave it quite scratchy. So you would do like some of the face and then probably have like graphite lines for the rest of it. So it is almost like it's been done in graphite, but only some of it has been filled with watercolor. Which I'm gonna have to make a note on because I'm so gonna forget that. So it's like halfway through. It's a work in progress. Which I think will be really cool if we have the graphite showing. Because I don't really tend to do that. I tend to use colour pencil. But I think it will look really cool if we have graphite showing for some of it and then just a little bit done in watercolour. We've got a water pot. We've got a palette. We've got random pencils dotted about. What else do we have when we create? We're gonna need some brushes, I guess. Maybe like a brush pot over here. And then something on the wall. We could do like a picture frame, could be quite cute. I mean, a lot of the lo-fi scenes are very cluttered, and that's why they work. Which I don't know if we're going to be doing fine liner. A cup of tea, yeah, we could do a cup of tea next to the water cup so we can accidentally drink that. As we do. I'll pop that over there. One on each side. So it's like a game, which one you're going to drink. And then I think a piece of art actually, rather than a picture frame, that would be cute. I'm gonna have to find the perspective where that would actually be. But obviously right now we're just doodling. We could have like a piece of abstract art or something. Um there. And then you could pop another one here really, couldn't you? You could do one in a frame, one like as a canvas. What else do we have? So we've got our whip, we've got our palette, paintbrushes, water, tea, pencils, paintbrushes. Oh, a window. Yeah, you're right. They'd be next to a window, wouldn't they? No, I am. Scrunched up waste paper like they started again. Let's try and pop that here. I mean, I guess it'll just kind of be like that. I might have to do it myself to try and find a photo reference. Okay, so we've got scrunched up paper. I have a window on my right, so I think we can pop a window here. Just behind the flowers. And then you could do a little bit of a view, really, can we? That could be quite nice. That's a good idea, Alison. So we've got a window, we've got some art, we've got some framed art, we've got plants, a cup of tea, water paintbrushes, palette, pencils or paintbrushes. We could have a couple of paintbrushes, really. Just dotted about. I mean, I have a bit of kitchen roll, but I don't think that would look very aesthetic on our table. What else do we normally have? I think that's pretty good. I might have to look at a lo-fi scene. The other thing we could do is rather than just doing paint, we could do a patterning on the wall, because if it's an artist studio, the chances are they might paint something on the wall. Polaroid, that could be cool. I'm wondering if we should have more on the wall than just this, because they are quite cluttered usually, the lo-fi scenes. I've never actually had a Polaroid. I don't know what it looks like. I can't picture. I know it has a block, but I think it's at the bottom, isn't it? Kind of like that. And this is the corner of the wall, so I'm just wondering if like an artist would kind of paint the wall like that. Because I think we all would if we could. I definitely will be. And then you could do different colours, so it's like a hand painted wall in different colours. I think something like this could work. The other option you could do is like a person sketching on a sofa, something like that maybe. I wonder if you could do like a weird angle, so it's like they kind of have a head like that maybe. So you're sort of looking from over their shoulder. So that's kind of the shoulder, and then they have an arm. Yes, that's a hand. That's a terrible hand. It's fine. And then you're kind of like holding it like this, and they are, I guess that makes them left-handed. And then that doesn't look like a pencil at all. So they got their pencil, they're working on a sketch, and kind of got hair behind like this. That would be the other option that I think we can do, is something like that, like a person working on sketching, you do over their shoulder. But I do think I like the idea of doing this, because I did a lo-fi kind of one last time for Peachtober. What was the prompt? It was the blue purpley one that I did. Oh, I can't remember what the prompt was now. It was blue and purple with white gouache. I do not remember. But I have done something similar, but I did it in coloured ink, and it's spread all across the paper, which I don't think this paper will do that because it's not handmade. But it is quite thin, like, you know? So I don't know how it's going to take any of these. But we're not going to spend ages on them. I think we're just going to like get through. And I just want to create what I would like to create. So we're doing any medium. We haven't decided. I think we said watercolor, didn't we? Watercolor. I think that'll be cool. I was thinking about doing it not in order, just because if I do watercolor here, and then I have a couple of prompts later that is also watercolor, it would make sense to do the watercolor whilst I've got everything out. But I don't know. I don't know what I'll end up doing. Then it won't be nice and flat to draw on, so I'm not sure. Should we move on to number 7, and then that is the first week all done? Okay, I don't know about this one, so any ideas would be amazing. The prompt is bud, which I've kind of had before for Peachtober. I mean, we've had plant, we've had multiple flowers, we've had grass. We've had quite a lot that are quite similar. Oh, sprout, that's what it was. Last year we did sprout. So, oh, snooze, yeah, that's what it was last year. Yeah, so it was a blue and pink lo-fi scene, and the white gouache kind of was elements. We also did a plant in that one, so I'm now thinking about it, it is quite similar. But I mean, of course there'd be a plant in all those kind of lo-fi scenes. Yeah, and then we had the alarm clock, and the alarm clock spout no, and the prompt was snooze. The final one we've got for the first week is bud. I thought of new plant growth and something like representing you for like new. Hi Susie, how you doing? Thanks for swinging by. It's the first live stream and I don't know, kind of winging it. We're now on the seventh prompt and I don't have a lot of ideas for bud. I think that's a really difficult prompt, especially considering sprout was only last year. And I mean, we've got the ideas that we did earlier for the first one, Daisy. And you could reuse some of these because obviously we don't know which one we're going to be going for. So we could try and use one of those. I mean, a bud. Oh, I never put my flowers on the table. I have a bud on one of the flowers, which would kind of show. It's a really difficult prompt, isn't it? I mean, last year for Sprout, I did a dog and I did like a little sprout coming out of its head. I think bud is going to be similar because it's just like this, really, isn't it? It's just like a bud with a bit of a flower coming out. It's okay. We're going to be doing quite a few, I think. I might also hop on a TikTok live, maybe at some point, because we've got a lot of prompts to get through. I mean, saying that, we've got through an entire week in like an hour and 17 minutes, which I think is pretty good. It means I'm in a good spot to actually like sketch them out with references. We're going to use references. We're not going to create any more giraffe ears. Maybe a bud vase with a small flower. Hmm. Like, I mean, do you know what that actually just reminded me of, actually? I did something in my doodle diary a while ago. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Where was it? I mean, that one's quite similar, really, isn't it? Oh, that is highlighter. That is really not picking that up, is it? That's so strange. Like, the highlighter, what's going on? Where is it? This one's quite similar. Why is that so strange? The highlighter. That was so weird. The one that I'm thinking of. Oh, where is it? I thought it was quite early. Maybe it wasn't. There's so many now, it's really hard to find something when I'm actually looking for it. I did a vase with some checks on the back, and I can't remember when I did it. I thought it was quite early. I mean, this one is also quite similar. That one is quite cute, which could work if we just do flowers that haven't quite come through yet. Oh, bud, short for buddy. That's a cool idea. I mean, the other idea that I had was like youth and kind of new, just anything that kind of represents new. Because we do have quite a few that are quite similar. I cannot find it at all. I don't even remember if I did it on alcohol or neocolors. This is similar. This isn't the one, and obviously the marker went through. But this is kind of what I was thinking with the checks behind. I quite like it. I thought it was like really early on that I did this one. I've done quite a few with the checkered behind actually. Where is it? No, I don't have a clue where it is. I'm just picturing this piece of art that I'm sure I did. Did I? I'm sure I'm not imagining it. I just cannot see it at all. I thought I did it quite early on. Well, I've got quite a few with the checkered background idea. I don't know where it is. I'm sure I did it. Don't know why the yellow went so weird as well with the colours. It's very strange. Something like new youth we could also do. I do like the idea of bud, but then what would you do if it's buddy? Like, what would you do for that? Because that's the only thing is if you were going to do like this in a vase, it's actually not going to look super great because I feel like when you draw a vase with flowers in, the flowers are kind of what make the piece. And if you're not able to do that and they're all just kind of like green buds, it might not look very good anyway because the flowers kind of sell it. Unless you have a vase full of flowers and there's only one bud, maybe, and then it kind of stands out. Two children playing and holding hands. That would be a really cool route to take. Wolf Farrell. I've actually already painted Wolf Farrell. I did it for the movie scene a while ago. It'd be a bit weird if I painted Wolf Farrell twice. It's just some random idea. On a seesaw, that would be cool. I'm kind of picturing neocolors, but I think that might be really hard. I'm gonna have to sharpen my neocolors because they're so stubby right now. They're very difficult to use. I think it is quite difficult being a portrait, to be honest, for something like a seesaw. Unless we stick to trying to make it sort of square. So you could have it like, you could have the sky blending out and the bottom blending out, like watercolor or like activated neocolors or something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if we do a vase full of two buds, then they're buds. What would we have though to make it look like it's kind of enough? Unless we do a really like fancy vase. If you do it like thin at the top, it could look like it wouldn't look so kind of odd just having two. I mean, I'm guessing that the flowers can kind of look like they're just about coming through for bud. And then you could do a really odd looking vase. That is completely not symmetrical. I mean, that makes it even more odd. What if we do a really weird shape though? What if we do, what can we do? Oh, what if we do it like that? And then maybe have like, kind of like a jug-like one? Leaves doing a high five. We could have, they could be touching, oh, like they're holding hands. Wouldn't that be cute? I think this is going to have to be bigger. This is going to have to be far bigger. I mean, it's portrait that we're working with. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay, that's next. But I think if we do it sort of square on the portrait page, I think that will still look cool. I like the idea of doing checkers, and I like the idea of doing neocolors, I think. I like that they do look like they're kind of holding hands. I have to look up what a bud actually look like. I think it kind of looks like that. I mean, I think I have some coming through on my flowers, but they actually have quite a bit coming out. They're kind of coming out like this, which kind of works. So if we have a little bit of a shadow maybe, and then what if we do it like on the side, and then you have checks, we'll just leave that, we'll go around it. That's a really cute idea. We'll have to do checks around the outside. Just because I really like them. I just think they're really fun. Just imagine that that isn't there, that's fine. And if we kind of picture it in neocolors, we could. There was one thing that I did want to do. I wanted to use the neocolors like wet. I don't know if you guys have actually used them wet, but I haven't really since I got them. I got the aquarelle ones and I've not really used them wet. So I think that this could look really cool being like a dry background and then this being done with like a wet brush. And then what we could do, obviously the checks, I guess the checks will be kind of square, but we could do it like the checks kind of end, and then we could have this blending down so you don't really know where it ends, if that makes sense. I wonder if we could add something else to this vase to make it a little bit more weird. You could do orchids like dancing ladies. That's cool. I wonder what they would look like as a bud though. I can't actually picture it. I'll have to have a look afterwards when I find a reference. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I might look up like buds for loads of different flowers and then try and see which one is the coolest, really, which one would work. I think if we separate these a little bit more, then the leaves will be a bit bigger where they join as well. I think that could work. But basically, they'd be coloured, so we'd be filling in each of these. Which I think will work for neocolors. I would like to use them like watercolor. I haven't actually done that yet. I tried it and like they're really bright and they are nice, but they're just not as smooth as watercolor, I found. I only used it for a short while, but it was just a bit more streaky, but I don't know, they look cool. I think it could work, but they did look a bit more streaky than what I was used to because I use watercolor a lot. I never really got the hang of watercolor pencils either. I can never really figure them out, but that's very bright. It's shining a little bit. It's definitely getting darker now. It's only coming up to 6:30 in Britain, and it's already so much darker. I think that's a really cute, simple idea. I think we will do it in neocolors. Oh no. I'm trying to write it. See, the thing is, I don't actually write like this. I actually write like the wrong way round, so it's really weird writing like this. Neocolors, we'll say background is like dry, and then the rest will be water activated. So on the list that I've got, let me find it. I mean, it's just on my phone. Okay, here's my Peachtober ideas. Let me see. So nostalgia, which we talked about a little bit earlier, something like a DS or a Tamagotchi. I would like to include frames on something, a couple of cute frames. The alcohol marker portrait we've kind of already done. A unique animal, which could count as the deer, but there was just a couple I thought of. Surrealism is probably the sky that we've already done. Use neocolor wet here, so that's what I wanted to do. Food, I would like to do something like bakery items or some kind of food. Or just like on like a food and a desk, like a little cafe scene, that could be quite cute. Oh, sorry. Room lo-fi, which is kind of what we did. I think it needs a little bit more. Maybe like a light or something. Camera, like an old-fashioned camera, I thought could look quite cool. And then I want to use the random prompt pot for one. So we could do that, like, for something we have no idea for, we could do that on live, just pick something out the random prompt. Yeah, the cafe, I think that would be so cute. Just like, maybe like a little round table with like some little bakery items, and I think that could look really cute. Fairy lights. Oh, let's see. We've got quite a lot actually already in there, coming back to it. Oh, like dangling? Kind of thought of like an LED strip then, but I have no clue how I would do that. Because we're using watercolor. But we could have some lights kind of dangling. Maybe like from one thing to the next. And then, oh, we could do it like off the window. think that would be okay to do in watercolor. I think I just have to like use masking fluid or something first, which we're gonna have to test to see how it works on this paper. But yeah, let's have a little flip through. Anyone that's just tuning in, this is the sketchbook that we're using. How gorgeous is it, honestly? It's only a Royal Talens Art Creations, that's all it is. I'll take that off. There we go. It's literally just that. And it was a little bit pricey. It was about £12, which is quite a lot for this kind of paper. But it's A4, it's big, and that is a really, really pretty scene. The snail, honestly, I had no clue the snail was here because the way that they had it, like, the paper was here, and I removed it, and I was like, that's a bit weird. That's just a random snail. That's what it looks like. I think it's so pretty. The other one that I saw, there's nothing on the back. The other one that I saw with the white, there was a black one with gold details and the cork. I think we've all seen the cork one that's kind of like, it's nice, it's brown and it's cork, but I just couldn't choose it over this one. So obviously we've got our weird warpy stuff there. I think I'm going to use this page for testing out materials. So we're going to have to test markers, watercolors. I've used this sketchbook before for March of Robots, and it did not handle watercolor well. It really didn't. So we'll try it on this page. We'll probably leave this for like dates. Watercolor, gouache, markers, water and alcohol, acrylic gouache, but I mean, I think it will be absolutely fine. I think watercolor and like wet neocolors will be the biggest kind of deciders, also the alcohol markers. And then the title. Oh, okay. I guess not. I guess I left a couple of pages for testing. This will be the title, which we have actually got a bit of transfer there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use there because every time I use alcohol markers, it will just go through this. But I guess as long as we have a sheet, it will be okay. Daisy. I think if we come up with the next lot of 7 prompts another time, then that will decide which one we're going to use for this. Because I like both of these. I like all of these really. And we can sort of reuse them. Sparkle, I love that idea. Markers and metallics. Pour, I'm not sure which one it will be there. I love the idea for sky. Fawn is really cute. I'll have to see how I can do it with the silhouette, but that's a really cool idea. Trying to picture those two merged. I really like this one as well. I think that will work well. And then when I say that there's other prompts that are quite similar, so we've got bud, we've got river, which it's a little bit basic, you know, but there's a lot we could do for it. Apricot, pixel, which will be really interesting to come up with. Wheel and earth. I've already had globe, so earth is quite similar. Cape, burrow. Okay, maybe they're more different than what I remember. I just remember there was quite a few that were quite similar. But we'll go through this another time. Let me swap over. Hello, very pink hair. I don't know what's going on with my fringe. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I think that was a really good session. I mean, we've got 7 already in an hour and a half. So that's really good. I think that'd be really good. Yes, thank you for joining. Thanks for having a chit chat. And I don't actually know how to end the stream. I'll have to figure that out. But I think it hopefully went okay. I mean, it's my first time streaming for a streaming software, so I don't really know. But yeah, thank you for joining. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, especially if you're in America. You've still got quite a bit of day left, whereas here it's already getting like really dark. You can see just how bright the light is. But thank you for joining, and I will probably come back on live in a couple of days' time, maybe Wednesday, try and do like another week's worth, because I want to be starting Peachtober next week, hopefully, like maybe like Saturday. I'd like to be starting Peachtober, so that'd be really cool. I don't mind as long as we've got like 2 weeks planned and sketched out, I'm happy to start without the entire thing being ready. But I'd like to start a little bit early because I have quite a bit of editing, because I'm going to be posting everything on the channel. We've got week 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do it like that again. So I want to be starting a little bit early. But I really like the ideas that we've got. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Susie. Thanks, Alison. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day, and I'll see you hopefully in a couple of days. If not, I've got a new video coming out on Thursday. Let me figure out how to leave.